Yeah, okay. Welcome everyone. Again, my name is Dr. Alfred Ter. I'm a Ghanaian resident in Munich, Germany. And in this series, we've been trying to understand the functioning of the housing market in Ghana. And last few series, we took a deep dive into the new Land Act, Act 1036. We tried to look at what it entails and the issues that it tries to solve. And again, we are lucky to have my good friend Emmanuel Dusai to help us in understanding it further. Today, we are actually going to look at the security measures that has been embedded into the law to ensure that people who buy land and then people who invest do not lose their investment. So again, Yuma, you are welcome. And nice to have you
Thank
again.
you very much. Thanks so much. And greetings to those that are joining us online.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And how are you doing?
We're fine. We're fine. Just replaying. We thank our viewers. We can really feel they are following the lessons. A lot more interest in people trying to inquire how best to get their land properly registered under the
Mhm,
requirements of the new law, and then some few checks here and there to ensure that their lands have been properly registered. As usual,
okay.
at the end of our tips, we give in very low price offers of properties that you can get from Ghana here.
Mm,
And we'll do that today too. So at the end of our series, we'll give you a list of very budget
mm,
immovable properties that you can acquire in Ghana. Interesting prices. And
great.
these are not fake. These are certified real properties that have no problems associated with them. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so to our viewers, of course, you can follow us on Facebook and then also on YouTube, Twitter. You can always follow us on those platforms. But so let's take a step back into what we discussed last time, right? So we basically look at some of the highlights of the new act, right? And
Yeah.
I think one of the things that came forth was that currently the law seeks to harmonize the way registration of land is done in Ghana. And then,
Yeah.
previously you could register at different points, right? So at the land registry, and then also the surveying department and all the other places, right? But you did mention that, and now, right, everything has been harmonized. And
Yeah.
then also that I think an important point that you made was that now, instead of the analog system that was being used previously, right?
Exactly.
Currently, you have to use a digital
Yeah.
registration. So you have to use the digital coordinate. So
Yeah.
my question is what happens to the people who had their land registered previously, right, without the digital coordinate? Must they do this again? Do they have to re-register their land?
Yes. So uh, just thank you very much. And just like we keep saying that the right way we say it is that you register your interest in the land.
Mhm,
It's a digital phase that is going on. The government is going ahead to make sure that all the land or parcels of lands in Ghana have been picked digitally and registered into the system. So, what is prudent for any landowner who
mhm,
registered their interest in the land before the digital phase of this transition is to make sure that they get a digital version of their parcel of land and then try and register it again with the lands commission. So in this instance, you are not re-registering your entire land, but you are
mhm,
trying to certify it, the boundaries of your land digitally, because what we've been seeing previously is that some people have eaten into the boundaries of other people. So physically, you can be in your house and you know that these are the boundaries of my house. You've
mhm,
even constructed a wall around your house. But when you take the digital site plan to the Lands Commission and they do the verification, you can see that your neighbor's registration has eaten into your interest of land. Yes, or on the registered this thing there, but physically you know that you are possessing your land. You have even a wall around it, but you can see that the construct of the drawings on the digital site plan has
Mm.
been affected by the registration of another person. So when that happens, you have the opportunity to rectify the registration and
Okay.
then be able to do that. So that is what we are telling people to do. And we went on to tell you that there is a new phase that is coming, that certain legal practitioners who
Mhm.
are interested in registering lands are going to be given licenses, and they are going to be given code, access
Mhm.
code, where they can themselves, in the comfort of their office, try and help people to register interest in land into the system of the Lands Commission. So it's going to be very an interesting phase where these crowded
Mhm.
people you see at the Lands Commission, people trying to extort money from people and trying to do this. There is a decentralized process that is going to come in, so that
Okay.
certain caliber of lawyers or legal practitioners will be given that. And we need to emphasize that it is going to be given to the lawyer and not the chamber.
Mm.
There's a law chamber, but these licenses are going to be given to the lawyer.
But that
So
that means that the lawyer himself, right, or herself,
the
needs to
lawyer
apply for
himself,
certain.
because these are issues that should be attributable for
Mhm.
people to take responsibility. So we
Okay.
don't want a situation where you create an artificial human being, because businesses are legal entities. They
Mhm.
can sue and be sued. They can transact. No, the law is very emphatic on that. That these kind of licensing that is going to be given are being given to private legal practitioners,
Okay.
lawyers in their capacity as individuals. So a lawyer cannot give your access code to another person,
Mm.
or put your access code at the disposal of a law firm that any another lawyer can
Could
use to assist
access.
them and do that. No, the code is for you, the lawyer yourself, and you are required to use it for the registration purposes. And I'm sure that is why this process is taking a lot of time, for them to properly put the things in place and then do the necessary education, so that
Mm.
when the system runs, it will go without any hindrance whatsoever. So these are
Okay.
many things that we're talking about, and we keep emphasizing that most of these things are in the interest. We are supposed to ease the processes for people that are acquiring properties, to be able to do them in a safe and then an expedient manner that will not cost them so much, and then that will also not bring them the usual
Okay.
troubles that we see. Yeah,
And also because I think there were a lot of questions after the last discussion, right? Yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah,
got quite a lot of people asking, because at the point you mentioned that there's a kind of system, right, where
yeah.
the registered land are published, and then people could easily uh, check,
Go to the
right?
website.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and check. So there were quite a lot of questions on that. People didn't quite understand how they can check if the
yeah.
land that they intend to buy is legit or not. So can you explain again the process, right? That people need
Yes,
to go through
yes.
to.
So for that, we underscore the fact that
Mhm.
once there is a new law, you need a time for the transition to take place. And sometimes we put a law in place, and it will require that the institution will build capacities, will build
Okay,
structures in order to make the law operational.
operational. Yeah.
Because yes, the law needs some wheels on which to ride. So
Mm.
sometimes the law or the legislative framework will be ready, but it needs wheels on which it will ride on. So that
Okay.
is what is currently being built on. Currently, as it is, I don't know of any website where the publications are going to be done, although it's a legal requirement. And
Mhm.
that is what we normally do, just like the way we had F cube, even in our constitution during Nkrumah time, that education has to be free. But the
Mhm.
Supreme Court had to rule that yes, it is supposed to be free, but it's supposed to be progressively free.
Okay.
Depending on our level of resources, we execute. So
Okay.
laws are allowed to be made, But as and when the necessary structures are put in place, then it takes full implementation. That is
So,
how it's.
if I understand right, what you are saying is that there's system for us to verify if a land is really registered in the person who want to sell it, right? It's not yet
Yes.
in
It's
place. It's
not yet
something that
in place.
okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
But still,
obviously,
right? Still, you can
you
still
can digitally go and find out what is
okay, you can
missing.
still search, right? You can still
Yes.
have a way of
Yes.
searching. Maybe I
Okay.
think maybe for the purposes of those who have asked that question, right?
Yeah.
The new system aside, can you the current system that is in place? Can you explain how it works, right? If somebody
Yes.
want to check
I
whether.
think that is one of the queries that we received when it comes to the search. You
Mhm,
know, what we do at Elsins is that we believe that the search process is very important. And when you come to law, once you take the responsibility of conducting your search in terms of a transaction in acquiring property, there is some level of responsibility you have taken upon yourself because I am buying something, and at the point I am able to say that I've conducted all my search and I believe that this thing is genuine and I buy it. It will be quite awkward, although it is permitted for you to come back and say that what I bought was fraudulent or was a sham or something because
mhm,
you had the adequate or the luxury of time to do all the checks that you have to do. So at Elsins, we advise our clients to follow this process in doing their search. You don't just carry a piece of paper and
mhm,
go to the lands commission and tell them that, please, I want to check this. You are buying a piece of land from another person. The person hands over papers to you
mhm.
and tells you that these are the documents covering this land. You wholesale without any investigation, carry the same papers to the lands commission and
Mm,
tell them to check it. Any piece of land describing a parcel of land, yes, it's entitled to any piece of land.
mm.
And within the locality that you are trying to do your investigation, there are several parcels of land that are there. So what we advise you to do is that you must take the pain yourself to do a digital site plan of the place that you
Okay.
want to go and search.
Mhm.
You don't need to rely on the documents that has been given to you to go and do the
Okay.
search. You
Because
must
okay.
take the pain, yes,
Mhm,
you must take the pain to do a digital site plan for yourself. And that when you give it to the lands commission,
mhm.
it will give them precision in answering you to your search request. There are a lot
Yeah.
of people who have given documents to the lands commission and they say that the lands commission deceived them and that it wasn't the land that they no. It is the piece of document that you give to them that they
Okay.
do the search on. They don't have the luxury of time to come and look at the piece of
The place.
yes, they don't do that. So that
Mm,
is why you need a reliable agency like Elsins when we take the pain. So we don't call our own search. We call it search and site investigations.
okay.
So we go more than that. So whilst we are trying to go and do the search, we first of all go to the site there,
Mhm.
have a history of the land. If the lands in that area is supposed to be a stool land, we know the nature that is supposed to take. And
Okay.
then we try and do a digital site plan different from the one that has been submitted to you.
Mm,
So we add the two together and order a search request on the digital site plan that we have submitted to the Lands Commission. And
mm.
when it comes and there are any differences, they will indicate to you that the site plan you've given, which is analog, and the site plan that you have generated as digital, or the two that were digital, but
Mm.
the one that you generated yourself is the same as the one that has been given to you by
Okay.
the seller. You see, so
Mm.
this is a more proper way of running a search. This is how a search ought to be conducted. You don't just take a piece of paper that has been given to you and then you run to the lands commission and say that I want to conduct a search. Yes, they will do the search for you, and at the end of the day, you know that the piece of paper that we are given is
Mhm.
for a different land, which is maybe
Okay.
behind it or in front of it that has already been occupied for several years.
mm,
You understand? So people must have the patience. So when they come and we tell them that this is the procedure you must go, we say, no, all I want you to do is that just send my piece of paper to the Lands Commission and get me the results.
okay.
And if we do that for you, then you will be waiving your right with us to accuse us of not doing a proper job for you. And we don't want to be associated with some of these avoidable mistakes, because
Okay.
these are mistakes that are clearly avoidable. You
Mm,
can avoid it. So why not use about 1,005 cities, do a digital site plan, go and do your search, than waste close to about 20, 30,000
mm,
paying a second person who claims ownership of the land, or even going through endless litigation just
mm.
because you want to get your land back. So we just have to make a decision to do the right thing at the right time, the first time, and then get everything done
Mm.
properly. So that is what we advise people to do with respect to that. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that clarification. I think maybe we can move on to the topic for today, right? Which has to do with the security and the punishable acts, right? That has been embedded into the new law. Yeah. So first of all, can you give us a list of things, right, that according to the law is considered maybe illegal, right, or criminal?
Yes, yes, a criminal, yes.
Mm,
And even before I say that,
mm.
Doctor, I want to state that these things did not become offenses because of the new law.
Okay.
They are offenses in themselves in any way,
Mm,
just that the description and in the prosecution of those things was not known or simplified in those acts.
mhm,
So what we are saying mostly can be classified under one existing criminal offense or the other. But
mm,
what the new administration has come is that it has actually detailed out these things as offenses, and then it has permitted the law to deal with them in the nature of real estate related offenses. So that
mm.
is what has been happening. So these things are not necessarily new. You can see that most of these offenses that we're going to talk about fall under the ambit of fraud, fall under the ambit of deceit, fall under the ambit of misappropriation, fall under the ambit of thefts and all those things. Yes, so they can all be described under these existing criminal offenses. But what the new land law has done is that it has brought those ones out,
Okay.
separated them as punishable acts under the law when it comes to the issue of real estate. Because sometimes when an act has a dual identity, it
Mhm.
looks civil, it looks criminal, it looks civil, attending to it becomes a little difficult. But
Okay.
when it has been given that full identity, the description
Mm.
is now known, dealing with it becomes very easy. And
Very easy.
in this edition, we will be looking at just about five of them.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
just
if we can I don't probably know much more, right? I mean the category of people that yeah, this punishable act relate to, right? If you can just list them to us
yeah,
before we go into
yeah,
more
so
details. Yeah.
it has one for landowners.
Okay.
Landowners generally have been identified. There are acts that landowners, if you engage yourself in, will be punishable. And then our usual people we call the land guards.
Okay.
They also have a very serious place there. And then family heads,
Mm.
people that hold land in custody or in trust. In our earlier edition, we said that the new law is saying that those people are now in fiduciary responsibility to the
Yeah.
family members. So those like family heirs, heirs of school lands and those things, they are
Mm.
also have a place there. And then finally, officials that work on land documentations. Those
Okay.
people will have to be cautious. So
So
these
like
are the kind
officials of the land commission, for example, right? Or
yes, officials of the Land
okay.
Commission. Yes, officials of the Land Commission. Because
Okay.
there is a practice that has been going on, and I'm sure the memorandum that brought this new law
Mhm.
has also talked about that, and we'll be treating that thing too as well. Yeah.
So let's start. Let's start. I think one of the issues that might be interesting for people is the land guard, right? So let's
Yeah.
start from there,
That's
right? So
that.
so what are some of the things that are
Yeah.
punishable, right, in relation to this land guard issue? Can you
Yeah.
explain that?
So for the land guards, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what the phenomena is that I need to protect my land. I need to get a physical presence there to protect my land. Yes, that is allowed in law.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you build a wall around it, or you build a single room, and then in our Ghanaian parlance, we call it Shresumami, which is a
Okay.
tree that we say is that look after it for me. That is the
Mm-hmm.
meaning of it. So the person is there, maybe farming on the land, and at the same time making sure that nobody encroaches on the land. So
Mm-hmm.
that is very much allowed.
Okay.
But what it is not allowed, it is the current phase of highly weaponized individuals, some of them holding cutlasses, wielding guns, and other things, and with the objective of annihilating anybody that shows contrary interest in the land. Or
What about if I have official security personnel right on that
yeah,
land?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
you have official security personnel to sit on the land and then
Mhm.
to say that, yeah, this is my land, just to ward out encroachers and all those things, but does not take the law into their own hands.
Okay.
And the way we have it here, now you have it, you don't know whether it's the ASAF or something. When you want to dig your land, they come for digging fee. When you want to wall your house, they come for walling fee. When you want to roof your house, they come for roofing fee. Everything has a fee that you pay to a group of people that will call themselves either as
So what makes their activity criminal? Is it
yeah.
the weapon that they hold on the land, right? That makes
No,
it criminal.
yes. Now, with the phenomena, what we have here is
Mhm.
that we have people that have genuinely acquired land, but
Okay.
this group of landers call themselves the kind of the soldiers of the normally happens with the stool lands. So
Okay.
they call themselves the soldiers of the stool land or the
They
family
are really not assigned by the
land.
owners of the land, right?
Yes, sometimes they are
Okay.
assigned by the owners of the land. And that is where we will come to because the punishment is not only to the landers, but it is
Okay.
the people to who contract them. They also have a share in it.
Mm.
Uh-huh. So these people will now say that we are protecting the land. So regardless of who has bought the land, you still owe some responsibility to these people.
Mm.
So we are not talking about a situation where you bought land and then you want to secure it and then you have no. These are people who decide to intimidate people who have genuinely acquired land. They
Mm.
decide to harass them and they extort money from them. And if you don't yield to their request, they use weapons and things and they harm people. And they sometimes kill people. These
Mm.
are the people that we are describing here. We are not talking about somebody that you've properly or legally procured to come and then protect your piece of land. That is
Okay.
not what we are talking about. We are talking about these people who use force against the wills of people,
Mm.
against the valid interest in the land. They want to take money from you. Sometimes
Mm.
they say that you have to pay this before you can work on the land and those things. These are the people that have been described by the term land guards.
Mm.
Uh-huh. And those people, the law is saying that they are going to punish them between not less than 5 years and not more than 10 years.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to understand specifically, right? If you're there and then you engage in, yeah, forcefully maybe driving people away from the land, right, and
Yes.
extorting money.
Yes.
If you are caught or somebody reports you, you spend that much in jail, right? Is that
Yes, you spend a
okay?
minimum of 5 years or a
Mm,
maximum of 10 years.
mm,
Now, the interesting thing is that we've seen that most of these people, they are unemployed. They couldn't have been
okay.
embarking on this exercise on their own.
Hmm.
They already have paymasters. They are people that have conflicting interest in land up there, maybe a rivalry chieftaincy title, where somebody thinks he's supposed to be the chief of a land in a particular area or the other, and therefore they form these rival groups to be fighting and then intimidating
Mm,
people who have genuinely acquired land. So the law is saying that those behind the employment of these hoodlocks,
mm,
these land guards, What the law is going to say is that you are going to get a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of 15 years. You are
That's a
getting
lot.
5 more years more than the person. And I think this is proper. This
Okay.
is this is a proper thinking through. I mean, because you are the cause of the action.
Hmm.
Maybe a hungry young man who wants something to depend on, who wants to make ends meet, and then you mislead these young people in misconducting themselves. You
Mm.
should not go scot free. You should also be punished. So this is
Okay.
what it entails in that, because previously the person will have to go for a police order, look for eviction notice, go for
Mm.
police protection. You have to be spending money here and there. But these days, all that they've done is that they have a land guard patrol unit at the police headquarters. All you have
Okay.
to do is to call them. You call the emergency line. I am being attacked by landlords here. And then the
Mm.
police will run to your rescue. And when
Mm.
they come, they will arrest them, because there's now a special department in the police service that handle landlords cases.
Okay. That's
So,
interesting.
yeah, so that is very, very refreshing for our brothers and sisters outside the country, that there's a very regulated new phase, because
Hmm.
previously it will be your own connection and your effort that you are going to use to do, but this is now a criminal act.
Mm.
So you just call the police, you leave everything in their hands, and then you are sorted,
Mm.
and then these things, and they understand that. So you just have to make sure you are buying the right land from the right person.
Right, people.
If you don't buy it
And
from
you
the,
and you have the right document, right?
and you have the
Yeah.
right document.
Mm.
So if you bought it from the right person, and a rival person who is not the right person is trying to intimidate you, you just
Okay.
hand them over to the police, and they'll be dealt with properly. So
Okay.
the onus is on you to get the right land, and that is why we are there for you, to
Okay.
help you do that.
So good. Beside and the landowner, right? Maybe recruiting land gas, right? What are some of the activities that are considered criminal for the landowner?
Yeah, the landowner
Mm.
too must be aware of the issue of double sales.
Okay.
Yes, issue of double seal
Mm.
is very important, that the person must look at. Double seal is quite straightforward. That is where you try to sell to this and sell to another person. And
Mm.
I think most of them become casualties because of the kinds of systems they sell to people, and we must be very careful. And sometimes they put some of us, we the real estate too, in trouble,
Hmm.
because you've undertaken with us that you want to give your land to us to sell on installment basis. We decide to get clients who are paying on the installment basis to you, and all of a sudden you go one day, and
Mm.
then the landowner has given that side of the land to another person.
Mm.
That becomes criminal instantly, because once you've engaged somebody to sell the piece of land, and through to the west, to the people have started paying installments,
Mm.
which they are servicing the debt to you, you do not have any right whatsoever to go and take somebody's lump sum and then give that piece of land to another person and tell the other people that I'll give you another one at another place. That is double standard.
Maybe the person want to sell it at the higher price, right, and refund
No,
the
no, but
money.
that is not allowed. But that is not allowed. And that is what they do, and put us, a lot of us, in trouble. And these
Okay.
days we don't do that. For us, we'll tell you, because we are signing a waiver client with you and all those things. So
Mm.
we are not going to be the one to bear the brunt of a double sale,
Okay.
because at our place we do full disclosure. The person who is buying and paying on installment knows who the original landowner is.
Hmm.
We are just facilitating the process. So if you decide to do that, we'll join forces with the client and
Mm.
report you to the police for engaging in double sale, and then you'll be in trouble.
Mm.
So that one too is there. And that one too, if you do that, you have a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of 15 years.
If you engage in a double sale,
In
right?
double sale.
Okay.
Yes, in double. And one tricky aspect of it is what brings us to the third offenses that landowners can be involved in,
Hmm.
which is the misappropriation of land.
Okay.
Misappropriation of land, in the sense that now the law requires you that any land that you want to sell, you
Hmm.
must have express interest in the land with the lands
What
commission.
What does it mean? What does it
What it
mean?
means is that you should have registered your interest in the land with the Lands Commission before you say you are selling it.
Okay.
Because the issue is that there shouldn't be any conflicting interest with respect to a land.
So just to simplify it, right? It means that the one selling the land, right, is
Yes.
the same person that is documented at the land commission to be the owner of that same parcel of land, right?
Yeah, in
Okay.
layman's language, you say that, but in broadening it, it
Hmm.
might not be like that because your name might not be there. But
Okay.
for instance, it's a family land.
Hmm.
If the interest in the land is expressed in the family land,
Hmm.
maybe at the time the interest was expressed, you are not the signatory because family
Okay.
lands are inherited,
Hmm.
but you are the rightful owner. And for which matter, the interest in the land has been rightly expressed before the Lands Commission. But
Okay.
your name is not on it.
Hmm.
Doctor, you see that
Yeah.
can be, yeah. Yes. And then we can have the situation where you are talking about where it requires that as a private person who has a property like a land, when
Hmm.
you are selling it, you should have registered with the Land Commission.
Okay.
But the way around it is that you might not have registered your own as an individual with Lands Commission, but
Hmm.
whoever has given you the title or the signed indenture for you should
Hmm.
have expressed that interest with the Lands Commission.
Okay.
So let me set an example. For instance, I rightfully buy a land from a family.
Hmm.
The family has registered it. It has also signed all the indenture forms for me.
Hmm.
If I intend to sell it to another person, I do not need to necessarily have to have gone to register my interest with the Lands Commission.
Okay.
But whatever interest I am selling to the person should
Hmm.
have been rightly expressed in the document I am handing over to the person. To the
Okay.
extent
So then, so
that
it's more like saying that proof that the land has been sold to you rightfully,
exactly
right?
prove that
Okay.
land has been sold to you rightly,
Hmm.
such that the person who is taking over from you in your interest can
Hmm.
go straight and then get the land registered accordingly.
Okay.
Yes. Because if we want to say that the law requires each and every individual to have expressed it fully before the
Hmm.
Lands Commission, that would be difficult. But the law says that any land that is being sold
Hmm.
should have been expressed, its interest should have been expressed before the Lands Commission. So that when you do a search, it is not that this is a government land or this is that. It should be expressed in detail to know that to be able to establish ownership and for that matter, the transfer to the new owner. So that
Okay.
is what it requires, and that is something that you'll be fined for it, and
Mm.
then it could also land you the same thing
Mm.
between 5 to 10 years. You could
Okay.
have that one too as well. So that one becomes a misappropriation as well and all that. So
Maybe before you continue, right, it's good to remind our listeners that today we are looking at the secure processes and the punishable act under the Ghana Land Act 1036. We think that
yeah,
yeah, some of the provisions of the law, right, has made it quite secure for people to buy land, unlike previously, where, like, of course, there are really no system to protect your land, right? Currently, there are a lot of regulations that make sure that you are not duped. Activities of land guards, right, do not
that's really
affect you in any way. Yeah. So those are the things that
we
we
are
are
looking
discussing today. Yeah. So
at.
you can beside the land owners and then the land guards, right? Are there other people who are affected, right?
Yes,
Some
yes.
value
So
act.
just to reiterate where I ended,
Mhm.
in terms of the improper sale of land, which
Mhm.
we described. So we say that that one your penalty is between 2 to 5 years, and then we come to the misappropriation of land, especially when it comes to people that are custodians to land, family heads.
What is the meaning of misappropriation? What does it mean?
Misappropriation of land is when the land has not been alienated or land has not been sold properly or land has
Okay.
not been, yes, sold properly. There are about three primary duties of a family head
Mm-hmm.
when you are holding the land. You are supposed to make sure that you take inventory of the land. You are
Mm-hmm.
supposed to make sure that you account for the land, and you are supposed to make sure that the proceeds of the land, if sold, are properly accounted for and shared among property members.
Okay.
So this way, the new law is looking at it like a fiduciary responsibility that
Mm-hmm.
has been given to
So
the
this
head of,
more for the family heads, right? For
you
the
know,
family head.
for
Okay.
or the heads of school lands
Mm-hmm.
who have to take charge of these things. And those ones too, although a criminal action can be preferred against you, but civil actions can also be taken against you to recover whatever that you have taken. Now, specifically on that, the law now requires you to convene a family meeting
Mm-hmm.
before annihilating any part of the family land.
Mm-hmm.
Strictly so. So first, or previously, what you needed to do was that you needed to call two principal elders to sign with you as the family head, and then you can sell the land to any stranger.
Mm.
But now it requires a family meeting.
Okay.
You are required to do a family meeting, and then at
With
the
all
family
the family members, right?
of,
Or who are supposed to be there?
normally all the family members cannot come, but
Yeah.
it is not supposed to be for, yes, the family is represented by blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So the law recognizes them as principal members. They
Okay.
are principal members. So principal members will definitely be reflecting the gates, the
Mm.
various sub families within the family. So all those ones will have to be there, and then you can tell them that this is the piece of land I want to sell at this price, and
Okay.
then the process can be properly taken. So people must take note about that. So because this is the process to follow. So if you are buying a family land and this process does not go through, in law too, procedure is very, very important.
Okay.
The procedure through which you acquire something is as important as the thing that you acquired itself.
So that's my next question. Is it an offense, right? For example, if I buy a land from family head, right, and the person had not followed the due process laid down by this act, right? Is
Yeah.
it also an offense on my side?
No, it is not an offense on your side.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it is a rebuttable presumption. When we say a rebuttable presumption,
Mm-hmm.
what we mean is that it will remain valid until somebody has raised an objection to it.
Okay.
Once you are sold to you don't know anything. And
Mm-hmm.
I know there are a lot of law cases that says that you don't need to know what happens internally. You
Okay.
are just a spectator. You don't need to know what happens internally. But what happens is that another family member will rise and then object, and then the issues will arise, and then injunction will be placed on the land,
Mm-hmm.
and plenty things, and you might not be able to go on with the kind of
Is,
thing
is
that you.
there is there is there a time lag, right? That if people, for example, don't really raise objections, the family members, then right after that, yeah, then I know that, right, I'm secure. Right, maybe
Yeah,
after 5 years, yeah, any issues raised by the family member is invalid. Is there something like that?
no, yeah. Apart from the Limitations Act,
Uh-huh.
that
Okay.
we say that 12 years. The Limitations Act talks about 12 years where actions to land can be barred. That is what the law says. I am yet to find out maybe whether between that time there's a limit that you can
Uh-huh.
do, just like wills. And just
Yeah.
like they say that when a will is executed, after 3 years, nobody can come and challenge it and all that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
but
something like that would be nice, right? Because
uh,
otherwise, a family member will rise in 10 years' time and say, I do not agree to the, to the sale of this land, and then you are in trouble, right?
yes, but it's possible. Even with the Limitations Act, it does not entirely bar any action, but it
Okay.
says that the benefit is to the person that is holding the land, I mean, the defendant, because we believe that the person would have acquiesced in such a manner that it would have caused you to have done certain things on the land. So, coming back to tell you that it was a mistake, the law does not take kindly to that. But we'll have to find out. Maybe we have to ask the lawyers and then find out more about it.
Okay.
But as it stands now, I think that is the only thing that I can see with respect to that. We'll have to do more investigation and then
On that. Okay, we can pick that one up maybe in the next
in the next
section.
one.
Yeah,
Yes,
and there's some. Okay, well, let's come. I think you mentioned the issue of public officials, right?
yes, public
Um,
officials too
yeah, can
is
you also explain how they can, right? How their activities can be considered criminal?
yes, yes, yes. So that one is something that has become a little topical
Mm-hmm.
that we need to look at. What the previous practices saw was that there were some bad nuts within
Mm-hmm.
the land administration system who were aiding and abetting with people and then making people lose vital information that they shouldn't have been losing at the end of the day. So uh,
Okay.
that became one issue that they were looking at. So there was a need for them to put some punitive measures because when these people conduct in these illicit acts, they just leave the land vendors and then the other people to their fate, and
Mm-hmm.
then they will still have their jobs to do and all that. Practices like removing people's records, amending people's records, and all those things unlawfully. You know,
Okay.
in those days where it was manual, all that they had to do was to go and then remove your registration, which is on the folder, and
Mm-hmm.
then put another person's registration
Name.
there. Or sometimes when you have registered your land in 2010, they will go and then do somebody who just came 2016, they will backdate the person's registration
Mm.
to another time where it will reflect that the person has done his registration before you. I think the new law identified those acts. And then
Okay.
where people decide that when people come to conduct search, they
Mm-hmm.
have done arrangement with landowners. So somebody can give you a land document and say that, oh, normally, we those abroad, we are in a hurry. I don't
Yeah.
have time to go in. So he will tell you that, oh, do you know anybody at the lands commission? You say that, oh, yes. And when you go ask for this person, he will do
Mm-hmm.
it for you fast, fast. So you go and give it to the person, and contrary to the records that are at the lands commission, you
Mm-hmm.
type a different search results for you that reflects
Mm.
that the land is for so so and so. Meanwhile, the records are not like that. So falsification of records, amendment of land documents, falsification of search,
Mhm.
deleting of land title, hiding of land title documents, all these things have become administrative offenses when it
Mm.
comes to people that are there. And I think this is one of the most
Serious ones, yeah.
yes, because most of the things that have happened to people have been in collaboration with people that have inside access to the
Yeah.
data of the
Yeah.
lands
Mm.
commission. And some of the offenses, you just don't understand how somebody will go for search, somebody
Mhm.
will be able to register land, and sometimes people just get so fascinated about it.
Mm.
He has registered his land long ago, nobody was there. All of a sudden, somebody's registration has come before theirs, challenging the person in the law court and all those things. So these things are becoming.
what
And
what are the punishment against
so
such
they are saying
act?
that your penalty charges will
Mm.
range between 1,000 penalty unit to
Mm.
2,000 penalty units.
What does it mean? This is not
Yeah.
thousand cities or something. What does it
No,
mean?
no, no. A penalty unit now currently is 12 cities.
Oh,
So
okay.
1,000 penalty unit is like 12,000,
Okay.
and 2,000 penalty unit is like 24,000.
Okay.
It keeps changing depending on times,
Mm-hmm.
or you'll be in prison for 2 years to 5 years, a minimum
Mm.
of 2 years imprisonment or 5 years imprisonment, and you obviously will lose your job with the lands
Okay.
commission.
Okay.
Working with the lands commission is one of the lucrative jobs in Ghana here.
Yeah, I personally think that if like all these things that you said, right, if they are really implemented, I think it gives some form of security to people
It
who want to
does. It
buy,
does.
right? Yeah, yeah.
It does.
But finally, what about the agents, right? Because there are some agents, yeah, they will they'll promise you a lot of things, right? Big
Yes,
money,
yes.
and then eventually you start looking for them, you never find them. And
You
then
never
also
find
something,
them. Yes,
yeah. I know Essen is quite
yes.
Essen is
But
different, right? Yeah.
we take that as very important because
Hmm.
I told you that some of these offenses are not new. It's
Okay.
not like they just came into being because of the new act.
Hmm.
So an offense like aiding and abetting is something that has been in our criminal books for long. So and the rule is that abetment of a crime is the same offense.
Yeah.
So if I help you to defraud somebody, is the same offense. If I
Okay.
help in somebody selling doing double sale, is the same offense. If
Hmm.
I help in somebody constructing or procuring the services of langars, is the same offense. If I help a family head to misappropriate or improperly sell land, it is the same offense. So you could be liable for any of these offenses depending on the extent to which you contribute to their occurrence. So
Okay.
if you contribute to the occurrence, you could be held liable. So that is why it's very, very important that you
Mm.
do some of these things and you allow the professionals to be able to conduct these things.
Mm.
We've had a lot of people in the event of this particular law that people that are procuring lands that are family related, and we've quickly gone back to tell them that they must convene family meetings. They
Okay.
must make sure that these things are done and all those things. Their interest in the land must be
Mm.
properly registered with the Lands Commission.
Mm.
So some of these things are very specialized areas where
Mm.
you can rely on us as Elsins to be able to deliver to you when it comes to that because we try to dot the I's and then cross the T's for you.
Okay.
And we do them very well because we have a history
Mhm.
and we know when we see something that is fishy and then we are able to give you a head start. So please don't hesitate. You get to us and we give you the professional
Mm.
competence. Yeah, so
Mm.
a lot of people we give them free advice, especially people that are outside the country about encroaches on their land,
Mm.
procedure for evicting lands, and then the management of their properties. Because some people are outside the country and they even decide to run the place as a guest house
Okay.
and they don't know whether the guest house is running. So at a point in time, they just want to convert it and rent it because when you rent it, you know that it is for a more determinable period. So the
Yeah.
person is using my property for 1 year or 2 years. I've taken the rent and not running. But what we do under Homeland Project is that we are able to provide you what we call the supervisory services, where we
Okay.
try to manage your property for you. So maybe there's a construction that is going on. You are not able to monitor the progress very well.
Mm.
You call Elsin, we take you just a little fees, and then we are able to give you proper updates with
Mm.
proper pictures, videos, and we give you inventory. We help you to even do the accounting on your building project
Mm.
because we do the entry of the sales and everything for you, and then we also provide you expert advice. So that is what we do. So if you have any difficulty with managing your property or whatsoever, you could
Mm.
rely on us. You join us. We have a retainer arrangement with you.
Mm.
Then we try to take care of these properties for you, and
Mm.
then you will enjoy them. And we have properties that are here that we are selling to as well. I don't know whether doctor is giving me the permission to look at our hot deals. We have some hot
Yeah,
deals.
so I think our time is up, but
If
yeah,
I
I
can,
wanted I wanted to ask you how you can in all these things, right? How you can help your clients out, right, to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
get
So
good sales and stuff.
the first step, yes, the first step is for them to call us. Our
Okay.
numbers have been scrolling there. You can call our hotline and you can ask those who have been calling us from outside. As late as 12 o'clock, we'll respond to your WhatsApp messages. Even 1 o'clock, we'll be chatting with people because we understand the diversity of time at the
Okay.
place you are, and we try to provide you those services as well. You email us, we'll get to you, or you write any note at the footnote of the video that is streaming on the
Mhm.
Facebook, and then we'll reply you immediately. So these are the things. We have some two hot deals that we want to
Okay.
talk about.
Yeah, quickly you can.
Yes, we have an uncompleted two-bedroom house sitting on a two-plot of land. It's
Mhm,
near Kaswa and its environs, and it's going for just 55,000.
mm,
Just 55,000. So the building is at the footing level. It's supposed to be a story building, and it's on a two plot of land, and it's just going
okay.
for 55,000 Ghana cedis. And then we also have a 10 units, one bedroom apartment, which is fully completed. It has been roofed, it has been tiled and everything,
Mm,
left with a painting. It's walled. You have one bedroom that is a hall and a chamber, and then you have the toilet and bath and kitchen. You have 10 units of that in a whole house. 10
mm,
units of house, also located somewhere in Kaswa, and it's going for just 450,000. You can't
mm.
believe it. This whole property is just going for
A
400.
thousand Ghana cedis or dollars.
Ghana cities, no
Ghana.
dollars, just
Okay.
Ghana city. So
Okay.
if you bring it into dollars, then divided by 6.2, then
Mm.
it's just home with you.
I,
So these are
I I
the
want
things
I
you
wanted
can
to
also
ask
do.
you. I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you, right? So, what your sphere of operation, right?
Yeah.
Is it only in Accra, or what is your? Can you maybe
No, no,
briefly
no, no,
explain
no.
your
But
sphere of?
I think very soon, if you visit our website, I think previously too, we've had lunch from Takrady,
Mm,
even in Kumasi, and then somebody has given us huge parcels of land from
okay.
Tamale, near the airport. There's one to Asablugu. There's one to at the Cambly Road, just after the main teaching hospital,
Mm,
on the road to Villa, to Yendi Road, thereabout. And these are very, very huge. They are in hectares,
okay.
lands that have been given to us.
And
So
are there installment plans or
yeah, yeah, yeah. We have
okay.
installment. We are running two installment plans in Accra. We have lands at the mountains, that's the Cropon lands. We have installment plan covering that, and then we have one too of the Winneba Kaswa Road too that we have installment plans on it. You can call us. We do searches too. So maybe I want this. This is my budget. I want you to look for this. We have clusters of agents that are registered with the Elsin Estate link. So we just put it in there, and then within no time, we have responses, and then we serve you with those responses, and then you make your decision, and then we do
Mm,
investigation and make sure you are buying a free land or a free property that is devoid of any litigation
mm,
whatsoever. So that is what we do for you. Call us, try and reach out to us. Send us
mm.
an email, send us a message, and then we'll be able to respond to you appropriately. Thank you very
Okay.
much for
Yeah.
always.
Okay. Good. So, yeah, I think that the other part, right? We tended to focus on the punishable act, right? And then there's the safe processes. I think
Yes,
our
yes,
time
yes,
will not allow us for
yes,
today.
yes,
So,
yeah.
the next session, I think we're going
We'll
to,
be treating the same processes.
yeah, I
So
think it's
please
good to look at
make a
that.
note of that. And that will be very interesting. I can
Yeah.
promise you. The way you look at land and the way you acquire land will definitely change. Will
Okay.
definitely change. And you will not do things the same way. And it will bring you some security and peace of mind.
Okay.
Thank you
Great.
very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So again,
Thank you.
yeah, we want to thank all our viewers for today.
Yeah.
We've looked at some of the punishable acts
Yeah.
in the light of the new land acts, and next week we'll look at the safe processes. So do
Yeah.
make a time to join us. I think it's going to be interesting. And like, yeah, if you also intend to probably buy properties and invest in the property market, I think you can also contact
The
Yima.
best
He has said,
place.
yeah, a
Yes.
lot about it. The numbers are on the line. You can on the screen. You can contact them, and then they will help you out. So, Yima, again, thank you very much. I'm
Thank
learning a
you.
lot. I'm learning a lot. So
Thank
I
you
hope
so.
that next week is going to be
Yeah,
very
very
exciting.
interesting,
Yeah,
Joshua. Very
very
exciting. The
exciting. Yeah,
journey to acquisition,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then very grounded procedures law to acquire property. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So again, my name is Dr. Alfred Tay, and I'll see you next week then. Thank you,
Thank you
and
very much.
bye,
Bye
bye, bye.
bye.